Not everyone is born smart and witty, and not everyone has the gift to be fluent, but we can all learn. Greetings and welcome to day 18 of our 21-day personal leadership retreat organized by our Family Care Foundation. I am your facilitator, Iku Ulokbo. Today we are talking about Mercury. Mercury is the planet that represents information and communication, and we are looking at why it is very urgent that we all embody the attributes and the beautiful qualities of Mercury. As we say, Mercury is information and communication. Most times when you look around your life, the things that information and communication help us to achieve are tremendous, they are immense. Sometimes when people open their mouth, when you go on social media, you see how they interact. You see the kind of thoughts they carry in their head. Some persons think negative about women. Some persons think negative about men. Some persons are in between with no opinions. Like if you go to certain WhatsApp groups and family groups, there are persons who don't say a word. They don't talk. They communicate by their silence. You can't tell what sides they are on. You don't know whether they are on the liberal side or they are on the radical side or they are neutral. But communication is a very important aspect of the human experience, because we humans, we are a storytelling species. We are a storytelling being, and we live our lives by story. That is why the movie industry would continue to boom. That is why we write a lot of storybooks, and that is why what I'm doing right now is storytelling too. Okay. So it is very important that we embody the attributes of Mercury. We communicate, we tell our story. Because sometimes when you don't open your mouth, when you don't tell your story and someone else tell your own story, the way they would narrate the story or the facts they will present would be different. So it is very urgent, especially for us Africans right now, that we have the opportunity to express ourselves, to craft our own narrative, we have access to information that were secret and hidden from us before now. It is high time we learn, we open ourselves to learning and grab this information and do the best with it. If you're building a family, if you're building a business, if you're building an identity, information plays a very key role, because you have to first of all know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then you're flying blind. You can run into a dead end. Okay, so this information age presents us with a very beautiful opportunity to learn. If you go online and you're constantly scrolling, you are not training your mind to be able to be creative. You are just consuming. So this information age, it provides us with a very important opportunity to begin to build by ourselves, to begin to create. Because the power of a creator is that you no longer depend on someone else to do it for you. You no longer have to wait on someone else. You no longer have to wait for whatever price tag someone will put on their own creation. Now that you know how to create. So today being the day of Mercury, it tells us how important it is to know. And communication also is very important in the sense that it helps you to express yourself in the way that so very quickly, today being the day of information and communication, two things are recommended. When it comes to information, learn and learn and learn. Have a curious mind. It is very important, especially in this time where we say, if your son is not active, how can you activate your son? Through information. What do you know? What do you have inside of yourself? What is speaking to you from inside? That is the information. On one hand, you need to learn that. You need to become that information. That is one. And then on the other hand, you have to communicate that information. You see? So information and communication, which are the attributes of Mercury, they go together. When you are talking about information, that is the learning aspect, to absorb information. Okay? And when you are talking about communication, it has to do with expressing yourself. Expressing yourself has to do with walking, speaking, writing. It's action driven. One is, it's an internal thing, and the other one is an external thing. Learning and action, which is communication. So what is most crucial in this age is for us to watch how we communicate and how we build with information. Most times when people go online, they are very mean and they say things that sometimes they don't mean. So if you don't watch yourself, if you don't pay attention to this aspect of yourself, it's very easy to put yourself in trouble, or to say what you really don't mean, or to give false information, or to just recite another person's idea. So in this information age, it's a great opportunity for everyone to learn, to absorb information, and then to build with it. Okay? So if you are working on yourself, if you are building your family, if you are building a business, you need information. You need to learn. Okay? And then you need to also express that in the way you talk, in the way you project your brand if it is a business, and the way you organize your family. So in closing, we encourage you, especially in this time, it is very urgent. First things first, you upgrade yourself with information. The word upgrade is a very common word these days, because the information we were operating with, some may not be up to date. So this time is a very beautiful time with the smartphones in our hands and all other sources of information readily available to us. We can upgrade our information. That is one. And then secondly, use that information to build something beautiful for yourself. That is what information is. Look at the word. It puts things in form. So we thank you for your time. We hope as you're stepping into this day, you are going to have these thoughts at the back of your mind to guide you, to help you build throughout this day and the rest of 2026. Thank you very much for your time. We'll see you in the next one.